All right, today back working on the UniMog Boom Crane. I took the existing hole, which is one you see there. I moved it up. That gives me more clearance under there. I still have clearance there. And then I moved that. It's going to default to something like that. I'll have to angle it towards the thing. So now 73.5 inches to the bottom up there. So what I did was, this piece used to be on top of this piece, so it was about that tall. I cut it off and moved it to the back side so I could double support that cylinder. I'll have to get some angle up there in the corner and build me a bracket that runs at a diagonal so the lift is always pushing straight up. And I'll weld a tube just that's a slightly bigger round than this to the bottom of that, and that'll keep that bushing up in place. And we'll see how that one works. If it doesn't work that well, somewhere around here, I don't know where Clue is today because I'm by myself, is a cylinder out of a cherry picker. It's only a 2-ton cylinder though, but it is quite long. If this doesn't work, then we'll use that. This will work for picking up the axle. The bed, considering the bed is taller than this is, you'll have to go way up to pick the bed up. And then since this yard is lumpy as crap, it may not work too well. We'll see. But we figured out that the bed is roughly 1,500 pounds, which is about the same weight as that semi-truck axle. All right, I got the ram mounted. It swivels. I shouldn't have cut off the stock piece, but I did, so I had to put it back on with a different set. That's why you keep your scraps. So now that is 89 inches to the bottom of the period peak right there. We got 2 inches plus right there. And then you got a good gap in there. Should clear the drive shaft because it goes off to the side. I want to set it down and unscrew the jack and then pump it up and see how I get. All right, I unscrewed the top of the jack. Now I'm at 84 inches to the bottom. Now I'm going to jack it up. Since the other one was 93, I'm going to say it's going to go close to 108. Yeah, I got the jack jacked up. I was way off. It only went up to 92 to the bottom very edge up there. Still got plenty of room there. Plenty of room there. Now I need to do something to keep it from moving side to side, because right now it'll move 2 inches plus side to side. So I'm thinking about diagonaling from under here up to about there somewhere on both sides, or doing something back here where I just extend a angle iron straight up off the back of this straight up to there, diagonal it down to here, then that way it won't move. All right, I got the basic layout up with the 6-ton bottle jack. It'll pivot there. The top part way up there, I've extended the screw in the bottle jack all the way out and then jacked all the way up. It'll stay in that pocket and it'll sit in the same place on that. That rotates a little bit, not a lot. But once I had that done, I decided to take my 2-ton shop crane, 4,000 pounds, and put on there. And it would pretty much go something like that, but it probably had to be tilted back because when it goes up, it's going to tilt forward. And I'd have to take where this hole is. It has to be a hole in here with a notch on the back of here, probably this diameter. Then I have to make a plate down here, something similar to this crap, to allow us to swivel. Because if we can't swivel, it's going to bind. But a problem with the engine cylinder, or the cherry picker cylinder, that's a 2-ton versus a 6-ton that's on the bottle jack. I don't know how much higher the engine hoist cherry picker jack will get it. You assume that the thing's got a stroke from way up there to at least down to here. So that's about 20 plus inches. I suppose I could use a 2x4 and see how high I can get it up, because I got one sitting there, say foot, put it under there and then just see how high that went up. Yeah, we'll do that. Hang on. So the bottle jack is maxed out. That would only be 11 inches for the cherry picker cylinder. It would have another 9 inches to go. All right, for a test, I put a 2x4 by 8 foot. So I get 99 inches to the peak, not to the very top, but the lower edge there. It'd be a 17 inches of stroke on the crane. But the biggest issue is if the cylinder is mounted down here, where do you put it up there so that when it booms, it swivels down? That is going to be a 2-person job, I think. But the other one will work once it's welded up. See, I didn't just fuck the jack up when it fell on the ground or any of my cords. I really hope I didn't cut any cords. Those are expensive tools. Definitely will lift what we need high enough without using the full stroke of that. But the question is, we're less than 3 feet to the back of the truck. Do you really want to pick up anything that close to the truck? Because the semi-truck tires, we wouldn't have to pick them up that high. But the bed we do. Decisions. Well, I didn't like the mess I created yesterday, so I went and bought a new boom. Like that one, except it's got holes at the bottom, so it'll swivel. So there's where the top will end up when it's straight up and down. 102 inches to the bottom of that angle there, or the tube. I think that'll be high enough. I don't like that it gets close to the back of the truck, but that'll probably work good when we move the bed. So that's about the slope that the back cylinder has to be. You can see the dot just in front of the chrome piece in order for it to lift it up. Who would have thought? Definitely need a swivel at the bottom. All right, I got the new hydraulic cylinder in place. 3-ton. It's going to pivot there, and then it'll pivot here, but this will be up inside here. I didn't want to cut it yet because I want to make sure it's going to go all the way up before I decide to put a hole in that tube. So I'm going to jack her up. You don't need to watch that. I don't know what it is, but why can't hydraulic cylinders come with a freaking release knob like that? That's freaking awesome. No tool required to move it. Now I just got this new one from Harbor Freight. I don't know if you can see that piece of crap. Look at that freaking thing. I gotta use a wrench to move it. Charge me $5 more and put like the other one on it. All right, I got the boom way up there, 103.5 inches off the ground. Nice. When the cylinder is all the way down, it was 72 inches. So it went from 72 to 103, so roughly 30.5 inches, 31.5 inches. The only thing is the boom, the bottom is really close to that piece of metal there. It actually needs to go out about 1/4 inch on that hole. And I got an Allen wrench in there. So that hole needs to come back. So if I got to bring the hole back, I have to bring it back a whole hole. So probably 1 inch back, give me plenty of clearance. And if you look, it's not the same height, but it might be with the correct bolt. So if I go, the only way to get that, those two angles there and there closer together is one, remove the pintle hitch, or two, nachos to go around a pintle hitch. It's probably a 1.5 by 1.5 notch way in the upside, way up under there. And that would clear that. I can move that closer, but in order to move it closer, I have to raise the hole. So the cylinder will clear the angles right there.